gripping something for so long that you cannot even sleep anymore, and you've been calling it faith. It's 3 a.m., you're looking up at your ceiling, and the same thought is running the same loop. Your jaw is clenched, your eyes are full of tears, and you keep telling yourself if you can just hold on a little bit longer, that something is going to break through. But remember, faith was never a fist. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." And the Hebrew word is rapha, and it doesn't mean to calm down, it means to release your grip. God isn't asking for your composure, He's asking for your hands to open. And the moment they do, something can now enter your life that never could have while you were still holding on. Psalm 91. Most people know this chapter. They quote it when it gets hard. They put it up on their wall, they send it to people when they're in crisis, thinking that the words themselves are the covering. And for whatever reason, they never actually read the first words. Psalm 91:1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. He that dwelleth. Not he that endures, not he that white knuckles, not he that holds it together long enough for God to show up. He that dwelleth. The Hebrew word is yashab. It means to sit, to remain, to inhabit. This isn't a promise made to the strong. This is a promise made to those abiding. See, the shadow of the Almighty isn't something that falls on you from a distance. It belongs to the one who is sat down inside of Him. You cannot receive what you are too busy straining to reach. The protection was never for the one holding on. It was always for the one who let go. You want to know what letting go looks like? You're 17 years old. You have a dream so specific, so vivid, so clearly from God that you have to tell your family. And your family, the ones who are supposed to cover you, put you in a pit. Not strangers, your brothers, the people who know your name. And now you're in the bottom of that pit, and that dream is still within your chest, and nothing about your circumstances confirms that God remembers what He said. And then they sell you. Joseph didn't push through that. He didn't grip his way out. He didn't white knuckle his way through 13 years of slavery and prison until God finally noticed him. He dwelt. Every room he entered, God was already in it. Every door that was closed, God was already on the other side of it. The pit wasn't the interruption of the promise, it was the path that God was already walking. Now, midnight. You are Paul. You are Silas. Your back is open from the beatings. Your feet are in the stocks. The cell is dark and the walls are real, and every natural reason to stay silent is in that room. And you sing, not after the walls move, before. Acts 16:25. And at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. The prisoners heard them. The worship was audible before the earthquake was. They didn't survive the prison. They worshipped it open. And the question, the one that you cannot avoid standing here, is what are you doing at midnight? I want you to look at this. The church took Isaiah 40 and somehow turned it into some sort of motivational poster. They printed it on coffee mugs and put it on running shoes and handed it to people who were hurting and breaking and said, "You've got this," as if the whole point of that passage was human endurance dressed up in scripture. Well, it wasn't. What I'm talking about is Isaiah 40, verse 31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. The word wait in Hebrew is qavah. It doesn't mean sit patiently until God moves, but rather it means to be intertwined with, to be bound together, to be wrapped around the source until you cannot tell where you end and He begins. The eagle doesn't strain to rise. It opens its wings and finds the current that was already moving. The strength Isaiah was describing was never yours to generate. It was always His to give. And it flows not to the one who endures the longest, but to the one who is so most deeply intertwined with the one who never runs out. This is what Paul and Silas understood at midnight that most believers never discover in a lifetime of trying harder. You have been exhausting yourself, carrying something that God never asked you to carry alone. The question was never, are you strong enough? The question was always, are you abiding? I want to name the specific thing, not theologically, but the actual thing. The conversation that you've been avoiding for the last few weeks. The door that you haven't opened for the last 6 months. The name that you won't say out loud because saying it out loud makes it real. The person you won't forgive because if you forgive them, you feel like you're surrendering part of yourself. The thing that you pick up in the morning before you pick up anything else. You've been calling that strength. And right now in this moment, I believe God is saying, put it down. Joseph was in the pit and he didn't claw his way out. And Paul and Silas at midnight, they didn't survive their way through. Every single one of them faced the exact moment you're facing right now. Every single one of them had the choice between gripping and dwelling. Every single one of them opened their hands. And then the walls moved, not because they were strong enough, but because what God inhabits cannot be contained. Remember, Psalm 91:1, he that dwelleth, not he who endures, not he who holds it together long enough, not he who musters up his own strength, he that dwelleth. That word is still true. It was true at midnight in a Roman prison. It was true at the bottom of a pit in Canaan, and it's still true today. In whatever room you're in, carrying whatever it is that you've been too afraid to put down. This word was specifically for you, not the person that you're going to send this to, but you specifically right here, right now. See, God is not withholding from you. He's not punishing you. He's not watching you white knuckle your way through this, wondering when you're going to be strong enough. He's waiting for your hands to open. John 15:5, Jesus says, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. The branch doesn't produce fruit through effort. It produces fruit through abiding. It doesn't strain towards the vine. It stays connected to it. And the same life that flows through that vine, the same life that raised Christ from the dead, that flows through the branch, not because it's strong enough, but because it stays connected. I want you to imagine this with me right now. A flower breaking through concrete. It doesn't break through because of effort. It actually breaks through because of the life found within it. And that same life is dwelling in you right now. I'm talking about the resurrection power, the life of Christ that dwells in those who dwell in him. You're not too far gone, I promise. You're not too broken, I promise you. You're not too tired. You're exactly the person the promise was written for. This is what I want you to carry out of this video. You are not a gripper, you're a dweller. So stop straining. Stay connected to the vine. Abide in him. Worship before the walls move. Because what God inhabits cannot be contained by that weight that you're carrying. So go back to that thing that's been breaking you, but not with your own strength, with worship, because the Lord goes before you. He was already in that room before you arrived. The fire letters go deeper between videos. The link is in the description. If you're watching this and you're not sure that you're his, the door that was opened at Calvary has never been closed. It is open right now, so come home.